Hello. Hello, Banange Muri Mutia. First of all, I don't know how you're all coping with the new normal. Borders are opening all over the world. It's about what 10 p.m. here, but I haven't done a Nakinyuguzi Chronicles in like 3 weeks. So I thought to myself, "Owange newankwadde obudde bugenze njagala kuwayamu nammwe twogeremu." I wanted to talk about something that I've always felt was, very close to home for me. And I want to share that with you so that I feel that if we have children going forward, um, we can be of help. We can support them, we can love them, despite the fact that they might not be your definition of normal. So when I was growing up, there was expectation of every single person to have a respectable trade, as I'd call it now. So we were encouraged to be doctors, we were encouraged to be lawyers, we're encouraged to be teachers, bankers. Anybody who deviated from the path of true respectability had not really been groomed by their parents. So I want to talk about something that really matters to me. Ffe ng'abazadde twagaliza abaana baffe babeere oba nkiyita ekikwega nga bw'onyumya mu banno osobola obbaga nti omwana wo musawo, omwana wo lawyer, omwana wo engineer, omwana wo kwegamba. That's a sign of a child that's actually reached a certain peak in their life, that they're respectful, that they've done what was required of them, that they didn't sort of waste away and waste your fees and stuff like that. So I felt today that I want to talk about something. Not every single child is born to be conventional. Not every single child is meant to fit the description of conventionality. And I think that in Africa, banange munyambe kosigena kosa kagamba Africa kankosake Uganda kwa kimanyi. When Uganda omwana yenna bw'abeera nga they're leaning towards the arts, they're not encouraged to pursue the unconventional route. They are beaten into submission to become what is considered respectable and conventional. The reason I'm talking about this is that it's not been an easy road for me. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, if I may say so. At the age of 43, I think I've figured out that I am flawed, but I'm imperfectly perfect. That I was created in a certain way that's not for everyone. That my journey would not be what people considered acceptable or, I don't know which other word to say. I'm working projects and they're exhausting, but they're exciting because I get to be an ordinary person that does an extraordinary job. Going back to the conventional route, what I was talking about, I want to celebrate every single child out there that's considered a square peg that has to be beaten into submission, fit into a round hole. Bananga bana baffe to be encouraging it to be different. Because through our differences is where we build a society that's phenomenal. The things that scare us, the children that scare us, the children we call uncontrollable, the ones we say that are not, normal, like nobody understands them, that they must be taught to give up their dreams because their dreams are impossible, that their dreams are invalid because they dream too big, that their dreams are invalid because they dream of the different things that nobody can see, that their dreams are invalid because we don't understand them. Some of us are not for everyone, like I keep saying. Naye kyenjagala okugamba abazadde, omwana wo bw'omulabamu ng'alina talanta ey'ekika kwegamba ky'otategeera oba abantu kye batagenda kugamba nti munnange nsobola okumunyumyako mu bantu. I want to encourage you not to discourage the different children we have. I had a friend that told me that their mother used to compare them to flowers, that each flower bloomed differently. And I think that's beautiful, that we should not compare our children, that we not say to our children, Singolinga Gundi, that we should not say to our children that they must follow in our footsteps because we don't understand them. Every child is a gift. whether they're different, whether they take the conventional route, the unconventional route. I think that we need to celebrate. Bannange mbabulire bannange abazadde. Omwana olw'okuba tomutegeera tekitegeeza nti tagenda kufuuka muntu. We're all born differently. Our DNA is different. Just because we don't understand our children doesn't mean that they're not born to greatness, that they will not accomplish things because they haven't charted the conventional path. They have not done the 5-year mark of buying a car or buying a house or getting married. I want to encourage our children to celebrate their individuality because I have lived that life. I know what it's like to try and beat yourself in submission to become what you think society will celebrate. Tuli bagenyi ku nsi eno. Tuleme kugamba abantu that they have to be a certain way because only in being a certain way will we love them. And that's the message we give our children when we're unhappy. I know there's quite a few of us that have actually decided that the conventional life is one for us, hence forming a prison for ourselves. If you've done that and that's okay with you, fantastic. Do not encourage your child to form a self-made prison so that they can be loved and accepted. I'm both a scientist and an artist, and it's a very, very, very different world to be able to create from both angles. I would never compare both sides of myself. Hence, I'll never think that one is more important than the other. I think as parents that we do not confuse our vision of our children should be with who they are. My parents were not so, rigid in that, but I felt pressure to be conventional, to be loved, to be accepted. And I did what was expected of me, but my spirit was restless. So I continued to pursue at the time what was called katemba. I know I'm not my usual lively self. I'm a bit tired. But I wanted this message because every time now, since I gave up some of the things that I thought that society would love me for, I come home exhausted but fulfilled. I want that for every human being. Bananga abaana baffe tubayigirize nti olw'okuba tebamanyi oba kubala nti math is not their strong point, that literature is, that they can create, they can tell stories, they can live in an imaginary world that gives them freedom. Let's not browbeat our children into believing that because they don't tick the boxes, that they're not worthy of acceptability or love. Like I said, I'm exhausted, so I don't know if this one makes sense. Nembeegayiridde ng'abazadde. Buli mwana gw'ozaala talina kufaanana amuddako oba eyamusookayo. Let's celebrate our children in their individuality. Let's encourage them to change the world. Let's encourage them to be the best unconventional versions of themselves. And if they choose conventionality, that's a plus. But then again, those that don't choose conventionality are the ones that bring change to the world. So my voice is a bit hoarse. I've been working. Naye kye mbagamba bannange, twagale abaana baffe nga bwe bali. Tuleme kugezaako okuboxinga mwana into a box. See, I discovered something that was so enlightening. I went to a very conventional boarding school that people sought to go to because it was traditionally acceptable. But nobody ever saw that me, as I was, didn't fit there. That wasn't my journey. I want the better for my child. So she doesn't feel that because she's not as placid or as accepting as every other human being, that there's something wrong with her. We as parents should be the last guardians of our children's individuality and talents. I don't know how to say this today. Because they're the world changers. They're the trailblazers. They're the ones that buck the system. and change things. Musure bulungi. Until the next Nakinyuguzi Chronicles, akuume atakuumira mpeera. In other news, I said goodbye to my uncle this week. He was a phenomenal man. Apart from being my uncle, he was my friend. So I have a message for all of us. Let's love the ones that God loans us, because He's going to want them back someday. Let's love them because they're borrowed gifts. And when the time comes, when God recalls them, I hope we can say that we did love them. Akuume, in memory of Uncle Samwiri Jaka.